The General Secretary of the ruling National Democratic Congress, who we affectionately call General Mosquito, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, yesterday held a press conference at the party headquarters where he responded to some allegations leveled by the opposition New Patriotic Party, including some observations that they've made as a party on the ongoing biometric registration exercise. Tonight, we bring you snippets of the press conference, and then we have in the studios the National Communication Director of the National Democratic Congress, James Asante, who will help us in the discussion to throw more light on the discussions, to throw more light on the press conference, and to tell us all that the press conference was about, and to help us throughout the discussion. So we'll go with our first clip, and then let's listen to the General Secretary, Johnson Asiedu Nketia.
The NDC is dismayed by the attempt by some religious leaders and civil society groups to subtly justify Kennedy Agyapong's declaration of war and the call for ethnic genocide by linking it with whatever incidents that took place in Ododo-Diodio. Equally appalling to us in NDC was the response of the MPP in the Kennedy Agyapong issue. On the one hand, here was MPP leadership caving under the pressure of public opinion, issuing a statement dissociating themselves from Kennedy Agyapong's statement, and yet organizing a hero's welcome for him when he was granted bail. Again, we found it very absurd when MPP members who claimed they believed in the rule of law came out to applaud a district commander of police in Ashanti region, Superintendent Kwasi Fori, who issued a shoot and kill order directed towards NDC accredited monitoring agents and called for the resignation of the IGP when the erring police officer was called to order.
Okay, welcome back, viewers, and that was the first clip that we brought to you by the General Secretary of the ruling National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. In his presentation, he made mention of a few things that the party was dismayed about some development. So let's go back to Mr. James Asante. Yeah, James, we've heard the General Secretary. Of course, you were there at the press conference. What was the basis for the press conference? What necessitated the press conference in the first place?
Well, like he rightly said, and you've also repeated, dismayed, he used the word, yeah. And at the point in time, he said, I've forgotten, but
it was absurd.
Absurdity,
absurd,
yeah, if I should, yeah. And he hit the nail right on the head. Well, we think that we've been observing the political scene, terrain for some time now. Certain incidents have occurred, basically violence, basically comments on, how do you call it, ethnicity, and a whole lot of them. So we felt that it was time for us to come out and then state our position clearly on that. Okay. So we think that it's not healthy for our democracy, it's not in our interests, and it's not in the interests of all Ghanaians. And therefore, for me, it was right for us to come out and then tell the whole Ghana that such incidents must be condemned. Like he said, absurd. And we're also surprised. You also said that religious organizations and civil society, well, you realize that they are quick to come out and condemn certain incidents. This time around, most of them are quiet, and if they should do it, they generalize it. Why not attack the issue? Why do you try to refer?
Yeah,
try
of course,
to
I heard
equalize.
The National Media Commission say that in times like this, they don't comment on individual cases.
National Commission itself, Media Commission, is toothless, bulldog. It doesn't bite, to be honest with you. There are so many violence incidents that we expected that they comment. They don't do it. Likewise, the GJ, they're also very, very silent on so many issues. So you ask yourself why. Is it because it's the NDC, or you think that it's not necessary for them to come out and condemn some of these incidents? We think it's not the best. Ghana is for all of us. Such institutions also represent all of us. It's not meant for only one party or a group of parties or a group of people. It's for every Ghanaian. They seek our interest, everybody. So we expect that when incidents like this occur, they should come out boldly and condemn it.
But how are your members? Yeah. Your members in the Volta region, your members in the Greater Accra region, of course, to whom the specific incident of Kennedy Pond's threats were directed to. How are they responding?
To be honest, we've received a number of complaints.
Do they feel that the party is not doing enough to speak on the matter?
Well, they are not happy. But the point is that they respect the laws of this country. Okay. They think that the party should react, not in a violent manner, but to make our case, put it across, let Ghanaians understand that that statement is reckless, it's irresponsible, all of us must condemn it. So they really support the party, right? They think that the party must come out, and we have come out to tell Ghanaians that we condemn it in no uncertain terms. They are not happy anyway. Okay. And not only them, other tribes are also not happy. To be honest with you, we've received a number of calls. If you monitor the media, the radio stations and things, everybody is complaining. So it's not good, and we must condemn it. So certainly they are not good.
The General Secretary also mentioned the specific case of the MPP disassociating themselves from the comments of Kennedy Pong in one breath. And on the other hand, the party organized a hero's welcome for Kennedy Pong. So he was saying that it was absurd for the party to do a thing of the sort if the party that seeks to portray their belief in the rule of law as a mere rhetoric and then on the other hand, somebody commits an offense of this gargantuan proportion. Only for the person to
be accorded such
yes.
It's true. For me, he was right, of course, because even before they came out to condemn it, public opinion was going heavily on them. A lot of condemnation across the country, and so it was amazing that such a person should be welcomed in that manner. We are not saying you should not welcome him, but what went with it? He was held shoulder high, showering praise, all manner of songs composed for him. I think they are deceiving themselves. Then the next day, you try to sideline him. It's hypocrisy.
I heard one member of the MPP on Asempa FM, that was about 3 days ago, say that Kennedy Ajapong is like, he compared Kennedy Ajapong to Jesus Christ. And also
blasphemous.
and also to Nelson Mandela. And when I heard it, I was totally shocked.
He can never.
Is it the case that they are trying to rub it in for the NDC, or they are trying to say
that? I think that we must, they should please themselves. The whole Ghanaians are watching us. Even international community is watching us. Right. And some of us find it difficult to understand why we try to do such comparison. You can't compare Jesus to anybody. Mandela is a human being, but of course, at the moment, I find it difficult to understand why this reckless statement, behavior,
compared to a noble character like
Mandela. It's an insult. We must condemn it. Whoever said it, it's unfortunate. We need to be careful. The our diction, we must be calculated. We should be measured in terms of our description, because this man comes nowhere near Mandela, comes nowhere Jesus Christ. So why should that be that comparison? I think it's not the best. And it should be condemned. Such statement, we don't have to tolerate it. It's out of order, to be honest with you. For me, all of us, I mean, it's very bad. But I don't see why that man should be welcome in that manner, to be honest with you.
He doesn't show any sign of remorse on the part of
But you listen to him, and there's no sign of remorse.
To the extent that he has to say that he's been accused wrongly of what he's supposed to have said. He didn't say the thing. They say
picture no tell lie. That's the sound too was clear. You cannot contest it. You cannot try to debate the voice. It's a clear voice of the man, and he said it. I declare what war.
In fact, when I heard it on that day, April 13th in the morning, I was so scandalized.
I was confused, and I was. It's like it was unbelievable. I was just wondering why such a statement should come from an honorable member of parliament.
Okay.
I think that we should prefix honorable dishonorable. He doesn't qualify to be accorded that respect. For me, it's unfortunate. He's a dishonorable member of parliament.
The discussion is still on the press statement or the press conference of the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, that was held at the party headquarters yesterday. With me is James Asante, the National Communication Director of the NDC. We'll go for another clip, and then when we come back, the discussion continues in studio.
NDC is of the opinion that MPP is looking for triggers during the biometric registration exercise to unleash the terror they had planned on innocent citizens of this country, and where those triggers don't exist, they seek to manufacture same with the active connivance of media houses that share in this diabolical agenda. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to recall few examples of some of the very provocative and inciting statements made by them. Number one, either MPP is declared winner or Ghana will be turned into Afghanistan. This was said by Anthony Kabo, MPP National Youth Organizer. Two, Ghanaian youth should rise and engage in Tunisian-style uprising. This was also said by Sami Awuku, Deputy Communications Director, at a forum with TESCOM members again in Koforidua. 3, MPP members should mobilize resources to buy guns and license them for use during the 2012 elections. This was said by Peter McMenu, the immediate past chairman of the New Patriotic Party. 4, again Sami Awuku, Deputy Communications Director, stated that those who could not afford licensed guns could resort to pistols, cutlasses, and stones, which do not need registration before use. Recently at Ododo, and in the presence of the top hierarchy of the MPP, including former President Kufuor, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong called for the lynching of policemen by MPP youth amidst thunderous applause.
Welcome back, viewers. You've heard it all, the litany of events, the litany of occurrences that convinces the NDC's General Secretary to espouse that they are convinced that the MPP, the opposition party, is only looking for triggers to visit mayhem on the good people of Ghana during the 2012 elections. And where the triggers do not exist, they sought to manufacture same with the active connivance of the media who are engaged in this diabolic act, if I should quote the General Secretary rightly. Yeah, James, with the connivance of the media, which media organizations or how do these media organizations engage in this active connivance with the MPP to manufacture triggers for these elections?
Well, you see, in the media, or let me take us back to the classroom, specifically what factors that influence the treatment of news. I can tell you that the philosophy of the media plays a vital role.
Okay.
The ideology of a specific media house, right? Besides the values like the timeliness and whatnot. But I would want to place emphasis on the philosophy of the media, besides the ideology of a specific media, and then to some extent the enterprise of the journalist's own what? Enterprise, his efforts. Of course, we have our philosophy. And if you look around, you monitor the media, we wouldn't say that we've enjoyed the best of media participation in terms of our events and stuff like that. And we know that not all of them are for us. And of course, we don't expect every media house to champion our cause. But I must say that we cherish the tokenism that we receive from media institutions that are loyal to us. And to some extent, those who are not loyal, but they find it necessary professionally to try to project some of our events. I think a lot of them don't share our philosophy, and all they need is to do what? Toe a different line. And for me, that is precisely what the General Secretary
I have had the cause to listen to some discussion programs and even some postings on the internet, which are very bad. For instance, some time ago, I think about last month, there was a midnight story by one of the portals, that is specifically modernghana.com, that sought to portray that His Excellency the President had resigned from office. And what I thought was very scandalous. In any case, if the editor of that portal was a serious professional, at least you have made inquiries to know that whatever story that they were posting out there were not true. You read other stories that are without sources, other scandalous stories in newspapers, on the internet, and some even go on radio and all that, allegations of all kinds. And then you find the host of programs and medium, especially in the Kenneth Japan case, you find the host talking to Ken, not warning him that what he was saying was bad, but allowed Ken to go on and on and on and on and on. Are these the points that the General Secretary was referring to?
Well, of course, yes. Of course, yes. Certainly. You see, if you put our stories, try to identify the sources. Okay. Very, very important. Most of us hide behind some of these
sources close to this person, sources close to
stuff,
this person,
and then churn out. Most of them are untruth. The factuals questionable, the facts questionable, and things like that. But you see, I believe that the media, we have professionals, and they say by their deeds you shall know them. Do you understand? Some of them are in for their own personal reasons. And at times you wonder what they gain from that. Okay. Right, so I am a media person, but I think that we've come to a stage where all of us must try to uphold professionalism. Exactly. Right. In the interest of Ghana, in the interest of our democracy, churning out untruth, churning out lies, fabrications wouldn't help us. And for me, the General Secretary is right. Okay. At times you read some of the stories and wonder the background of some of these writers.
If even the stories were actually edited. But let us even consider that.
Now, if you said His Excellency is what to resign, how?
How possible? That's the first question I asked myself. How possible?
Yeah.
How possible?
Yeah.
Let's consider the triggers that the General Secretary spoke about. He spoke about the youth organizer of the MPP saying that if Ghana, if the results are not declared for the MPP,
Afghanistan,
there will be Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That is the youth organizer of the party. And that was not the first time he made those statements. He had made earlier statements elsewhere. But on the contrary, our national youth organizer, Ludwig, every single opportunity he has, he speaks about peace. And he even throws the challenge to the people that we want to see commitment on your side, talking about peace. So on that wavelength, it looks like the MPP is preparing the minds of their people to some form of violence. He spoke about the Arab Spring issue. McMenu says they should carry guns. I heard Nyaho Tamakulu says that the election is going to be a guerrilla war. When he was pushed to the war, he came back to say that it was a figure of speech. And I wonder what kind of grammar that is. And again, Samuel Uku, who was my own classmate in Legon, says that people should buy pencils to break the heads of people from other tribes and whatever who come into their homes for rescue, and says that people should take positions in the nearest place. That all these things does it feed into the mentality that the MPP is trying to prepare the minds of their people towards a violent capture of power that is outside the democratic process?
You know what? Yesterday the General Secretary said something. If I should recall, he said when the MPP held their Congress to elect their leaders, he made some remark. In fact, he said he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy about the kind of leadership we were going to provide based on the selection of these leaders. He called their national organizer, what's his name, Mukhtar Bamba.
Mukhtar Bamba, yeah.
Right. Mukhtar Bamba some time ago said it, that he was preparing a tags on standby for the purpose of the 2012 election.
The Bamba Boys.
The Bamba Boys.
Lord Comey spoke about the action troopers.
The action troopers, right. They how do you call it, the all die be die and stuff like that. And they thought he was joking. And now he's been vindicated. their actions, do you understand, their pronouncement, it's more or less vindicating what the General Secretary was saying, that we got to watch these people well. They are not people who would provide any good leadership. They're going to cause confusion, chaos, throw the nation into chaos and stuff like that. And, I mean, insults were heaped on him. So yesterday, I sat back, listened to him. I said, this man, you said it, and it has come to pass. But let's ask ourselves, are they interested in the welfare of the country? If you ask me to go and carry pencils, if I don't have guns, to go and kill people, it's ungodly. It's unpatriotic.
But isn't it worrying that the young men, men who are less than
you are a young man. You are a young man. And like you said, your youth organizer said something on the contrary. I mean, you see the contrast.
Yeah.
He's preaching peace, and he's also preaching what? Violence. Yes. Now, when you go back to their leaders, you listen to what the one is saying, all die be die. Another one is saying that Ghana will not die. Ghana will live to the glory of God.
We need peace.
That's it.
Yeah.
And which of them will you go for?
Obviously, the one with for the peace.
So it's up to Ghanaians to listen to these statements and make their choice.
I remember
somebody is saying that all die be die. Somebody is saying Ghana will not die. Which one will you go for?
I remember the president was heavily criticized when he appeared before the United Nations at the General Assembly and said that the elections were going to be organized in a very peaceful manner and assured the public that in his administration, he's prepared to hand over a very peaceful country. But he's sure that he was going to win elections. There was a whole lot of hula baloo in Ghana where the opposition MPP said that, no, he shouldn't have said that. That was unnecessary. The president was being, until date. But their actions points to a certain direction from all the litany of events that the General Secretary states. But again, with all the developments and everything that we've been talking about in this Green Book, that is the overview of the Better Ghana agenda. We've all been preaching that. Look, based on our achievement. And during the Sunday program at KNUST, where thousands of students were there
I missed that program.
You missed the program.
Yeah,
it was great. The National Youth Organizer made a profound statement. He said that, look, the NDC is not going to be militant. We are not believing in militancy. But what we believe is that, look, our achievements should speak for us. Our achievements should speak for us. And that every youth of the NDC must arm themselves with the Green Book, with the achievement, and campaign based on what we have been able to achieve so far. We don't need to fight anybody to come to power, but we need to market our achievement. Of course. And in the peace of Ghana, we move on with our development. But on the other hand, our people from the other side, they are not bothered about development issues. They are not bothered about whatever is we want to do to make Ghana go forward. All their messages point to the direction that we are in a war zone. Isn't that worrying?
We are not. We are not. Let's tell Ghanaians we are not in any war zone. We are for peace. Ghana is for all of us. And we must all take cue from what our leaders say. Okay. Somebody at a point in time said his militants will be called to action. Somebody who is seeking the highest office of this country. Militants. What are you talking about? You see, it's worrying, but I think that the government is up to task. The government will certainly make sure that this thing does not happen. Okay. The laws of the country are clear. If you have any problem, go through the due process and address it. You don't have to take arms. And that is what we are telling our youth of this country, that they should not listen to any all die be die slogan. It's not good for us.
Okay. Well, let's take let's take another break, and then the message is that the youth of Ghana should not listen to any all die be die talk or slogan. They should be focused on peace. And go for another clip, and then we come back for the discussion.
Those who appreciate the history of the United Party, UP tradition, will agree with me that the UP, which is the progenitor of the MPP, has its history deeply rooted in politics of ethnicity. Unfortunately, with the advent of modernity and the conscious effort made by the first president of the Republic, Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, to groom the youth of this country to see themselves first and foremost as Ghanaians, before any other identity, the NPP, both in theory and in practice, has not weaned itself of this canker of ethnicity. Indeed, a study conducted by the Center for Democratic Development concluded that ethnic polarization had worsened under the 8-year rule of former President Kufuor and the NPP. It is no wonder that the UP tradition, in all its history, has never fielded a non-Akan as either as their presidential or prime ministerial candidate.
Yeah, the history of the UP has been traced by the General Secretary. Very, very well, deep involved in violence, and violence could be traced to the very heart of the UP tradition, which metamorphosed into the NPP. In fact, he traced some particular issues, and then if you want to add a bit of what the General Secretary said, then we'll look at.
Yeah, certainly. Let me continue from where he ended to validate
by the press statement.
That's it. He said again, let me recall the utterances of key leaders of UP NPP tradition to emphasize my point. Point number one, the late Victor Usu once on the floor of Parliament described the Ewes as inward looking. Two, when former President Kufuor was questioned at a public forum as to why a majority of his appointees were Akans to the neglect of other regions and ethnic groupings, his response was that he could not find any persons of ministerial substance in the whole of the West, in the whole of the Upper West region. Nana Akufo-Addo, the NPP flag bearer, in his infamous "Or Die Be Die" statement, also referred to the NPP members as Yen Akanfo, implying that NPP is synonymous to the Akan ethnic group. Jacob Echebi Lamte actually justified the violence in Côte d'Ivoire by drawing similarities between what he described as the suppression of Akans in Côte d'Ivoire and the suppression of Akans in Ghana, and urged the Akans in Ghana to revolt against government. Now, during the search for a running mate for the 2012 elections, the NPP minority leader is on record as having said that the NPP could not find a vice presidential material among the Ghana Dangbe people. So, ladies and gentlemen, is it therefore no wonder that Kennedy Japan should be calling Ashantis to slaughter people of other ethnic groups, including Gans and Votarians?
So
it's a serious.
So the substance
issue.
is tracing the history one after the other to point to a certain direction.
They have a history, and that is what the General Secretary has said, and I've also added it. You understand it? And for me, a party with such ideology is a bit questionable when it comes to democracy. It should be all inclusive. You understand it? It's surprising that people should behave this way. What are they telling us? To go and kill one tribe,
that shouldn't
kill
be
another
the
tribe? For me, that shouldn't be the case. We are all Ghanaians.
Yes, but looking forward, how should the people of the Volta region and the people of the Greater Accra region or other minority ethnic groups in the country, how protected are they? How should they feel? Should they feel protected under His Excellency President Moses' administration? Are the police ready to protect every single Ghanaian as we see elsewhere? Well,
I think we are protected. If you listen to the president, he said it over and over again, that we ensure that we go through election in a very peaceful manner. Should be free and fair. He wouldn't want to shed any blood. The implication is that he thinks about Ghanaians, he thinks that we should live in peace. Now, if you look at what the IGP said yesterday, he said he's going to deal with them, deal with anybody who would want to foment trouble, irrespective of your political inclination. The police are going to do their job as professionals and deal with them.
Talking about the IGP,
yeah.
Samia Uku, the young man, the deputy communication director of the NPP, described the IGP as a helpless son. He said that helpless son of a woman, Obapa. I mean, isn't that extreme? Isn't that insulting to the office of the IGP?
It's serious. I guess he's got parents.
Yeah.
And if somebody should describe his father in that context, I mean, will he be happy? And these are questions we need to ask ourselves. And we don't want the young ones to copy.
Not at all.
This kind of behavior should not compromise. It's in a very bad taste, and we should condemn it. It's in a very bad taste. But I think that the IGP must be commended for what he and his people are doing. Right. Armed robbery, to some extent,
it's down.
That's it. I mean, if you listen to the police, the crime rate is gradually.
And I think even when you move around, you feel the presence of
the police.
security
Everywhere.
forces. They're everywhere now.
Everywhere. And it's like we are protected to some extent. And for me, we should churn out words that will encourage them, not words that will dampen their spirits. Right? So we need to be cautious. In terms of our diction, we should be measured. In terms of how we describe the police, describe state institutions, and we should have confidence in them. Personally, I think that the police are doing well. They must be condemned, commended, not be condemned. Right.
Yeah. This morning I was reading the news, and then mention was made that His Excellency President John Evans Mills has procured 50 million euros for the procurement of equipment to resource the police leading to the 2012 general elections.
Yeah, I think it's living up to his promise. He said it.
Okay.
We will equip them with the necessary resources, logistics for them to perform. Right. So I think it's in order. It's a welcome news, and we must all say thank you to the president for the good job he's doing. And it's in order. We expect more, to be honest with you. Yeah, you expect more. Right.
Yeah, surely.
Expect more.
We'll surely expect more from...
Yeah, and we strongly believe that he will do it. He's a man of his words, and we must commend him for that. Yeah.
Just yesterday, I saw a story on the internet on business, Ghana Business News, where the UK Prime Minister, David Cameron, has issued a warning to all their citizens across, in Ghana, actually, in Ghana. The story by Eko Kwanji. And the statement sought to say that UK nationals, let me just read a portion of it. He said, UK nationals have been told to be wary of political tensions in Ghana, likely to arise as the country heads to general elections in December 2012, according to the travel survey summary and safety security notes updated by the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office today, April 24, that was yesterday, 2012, on its website. According to the office, Ghana's national elections are due in early December 2012, and I quote, there may be an increase in localized political tensions in the period running up to these, unquote. And it says that the office told citizens via its website that, quote, you should exercise caution around large gatherings of people and avoid all political demonstrations anywhere in the country. And it goes on to say, you should monitor daily developments through the local media. Then it also says that localized outbreaks of civil unrest can occur at short notice due to ongoing local chieftaincy and land disputes, particularly in the north of Ghana. It continued, and it continues on until it ends. I mean, this should be a source of worry to us, because for the first time, in my young life, I am hearing that the UK government is actually issuing a warning to its citizens to be wary of elections in Ghana. And for me, this is bad business for Ghana, just because some politicians have decided to project us in a very bad light. In spite of all the gains that we've made in our democratic credentials. Not long ago, President Mills was hailed everywhere in the world as a beacon, as a man of leadership stature, as a man who was leading a growing economy, and all of a sudden this shouldn't be happening just because of the reckless and irresponsible statements from the opposition. I mean, what do you think about this?
But I think that it falls within the purview of their foreign policy. We would have done the same thing. Whenever there's confusion in other countries, we try to caution our nationals, beware, right? The Libyan situation, we said it. Liberia, Sierra Leone, we issue statements. Our brethren who live in those countries will confirm, will testify to that. So I think it's in the right direction. But the point is that it's unfortunate, right?
We shouldn't have come
and of
to
course,
this point.
it tells you that they are monitoring what is happening in our country, development. We should discourage people from churning out some of these statements. I mean, statements that would dampen the spirit of our neighbors.
Okay.
It's not good for us.
Okay, all right.
It's not good. It's going to scare investors.
Exactly so. Exactly so.
It's dangerous. And you know, these guys, yeah, they know what they are talking about. Yeah. So let's be careful. But let's caution our political leaders, caution politicians to beware of what they say, what the statements they make, because it's going to go a long way to affect us. Our neighborliness, our friendliness with our what?
Okay.
Yeah.
James, before we went on the break, we were mentioning about some supports that we are ready to give our people, government, we're ready to give the support to the police and the security agencies to ensure, because now everybody's watching out to see how effective, how peaceful we are going to run the elections. Just today, there was a large, there was a large gathering. I think I have a first caller from WA. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. Your name, please.
Yeah, Nurdin, calling from WA East.
Okay, James. Yeah.
Nurdin.
Yeah. This evening, I'm just amazed or surprised as to what your General Secretary sought to present. In this country, something has happened, and it has started happening since the NDC first regime, second regime. So if there are insults, now we sought to. Now, your General Secretary sought to go ahead to organize a press conference to, in fact, laugh MPP allegations. These are things we want to run away from.
These are not allegations.
These are allegations.
They are not. They are events. They are events that have really happened.
What you are doing tonight, I don't know what you sought to do. You are in government. Just tell us what you are doing. Not to come and sit down and be talking about.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nuruddin. Let me take the next caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Your name, please.
My name is Sule. I'm calling from Tamale.
Okay, Sule, Tamale.
Don't mind these people. Don't mind them. So let's talk. Don't mind them. Hello, fellas. How are you?
Yeah, hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. You can make your contributions.
Greetings to my guest.
Hello. It looks like unfortunately, we've lost our caller. Yeah, Sule, if you're still watching us, call back. We'll pick your call and then the discussion.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, sorry.
Hello?
Yeah, you are here.
Yeah, I'm on right.
Okay, sure.
I said my greetings to my great man, like Sami Okujato, fellas Owusu.
Okay, all right. Okay, they will hear that. Okay, your comments?
Yeah, my comment is that these people are very dangerous guys, MPP, etc. So if we are dealing with them, we have to deal with them very well because they are very dangerous, and if we don't take time, they mean whatever they say, they mean. We have to be very careful with them.
Okay. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Sule. Let me take Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, fellas. Good evening.
Good evening, Jonathan.
How's the evening?
Very well, my brother.
Actually, fellas, I call in this program with an issue, but I just want the director of this program to take notice of this. We've been watching the minority and the majority caucus, but there's something different on the majority caucus. Anytime the caller calls in, you try to interject that person. The caller doesn't call in to debate with you. We only call to only tell you our mind. And apart from that, so apart from that, we don't even speak, and you cut the person off. So how do you make up the points?
Okay, yeah, Jonathan.
This evening, fellas, please, let me just beg you.
Okay.
This evening, I'm very, very sorry about the topic we are choosing. These are things that have rise, and we want the problems, and we want solutions to solve it.
Okay, all right.
Now, we are
okay, yeah, but Jonathan, if I may stress, sometimes when the callers call in, they come from a position that we need to correct some of the impressions that they make so that we make the discussion very useful. So when somebody calls and the person makes all kinds of comments and allegations that we think that are unsavory, we need to interject and correct the impression. Yeah, David, hello. We've lost David. Yeah. Yes, yeah, if you want to respond to any of the calls that any of them have made.
Well, first, to the first caller, he is trying to attack us here.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. These are facts.
That we are putting out.
Of course, we held a press conference. We've stated facts.
We have Latif on the line. Yeah. Hello, Latif.
Yeah, hello, Felix. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, Latif.
Good evening. I'm okay.
Okay, your comment?
Yeah, Felix, I think you have to take a serious note about what Jonathan expressed. If it is a serious thing, sometimes you waste your time to monitor a program, then you call and then they cut you off. Anyway, let me go straight to the point. Felix, if you can help me understand something. If someone come out to say a Northerner and for a matter a Muslim is nowhere near to the presidency, what does it mean? My second point is that with Professor Awuno's book, what does it mean to Ghanaians?
Which book?
My third point is Mr.
Which book are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Airways. When Professor Awuno came out and wrote a book.
Which book? What is the title of the book?
Can you let me make my point, Felix?
Yeah, you are mentioning a book, so I want our viewers to be in the know.
About Justice Pega.
Are you abandoning the book?
Who came out and said Airways will rise up and defend themselves.
He didn't say
what
that.
What does it mean?
He didn't say
and
that.
And again, your Deputy Minister for Volta Region stood in a Flower FM station and said Ashantis have no right to dictate to them in Volta Region and that they should be killed in Volta Region.
That is not true. That is not true. That's a blatant. That is a blatant falsehood, and I can tell you.
You mean it's not true?
It is false. We should take it. It is false. What you are saying is false.
Oh, so it's false. What you are saying is true.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we have Ibrahim on the line. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello.
Yeah, Ibrahim.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Ibrahim.
How are you?
Yeah, very well.
Please, I've been watching your program many times.
Okay.
And I am praying for you people to do well for the party. Because what the NPP people are trying to do, they won't succeed. They know that they are in the right part of everything. So they are trying to miscommunicate us. So keep doing everything for us.
Okay, all right.
And I want my brother's number.
Which of them?
And the one who just is sitting by you.
The communications director?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll talk that off air.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let me take John. Hello, John. You are our last caller. Hello, John.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, John.
Yeah, I'm John from Abo.
Okay, John from Abo.
So I want to make.
Okay.
So what are we witness with everything? What are we waiting for? Somebody has declared a war against us.
When you say what are we waiting for, what exactly do you mean?
I'm saying what I'm trying to say is that at least let's demonstrate. We show to the outside world that look, we are serious. One man cannot stand against the whole tribes, everything else. Let's do something.
Okay, I understand your point, but our advice. Okay, our advice is that in the midst of also registering your misgivings, we don't carry it to the extreme, so that we create more problems for ourselves, John. In as much as I agree with your sentiments as a son of the soil myself, but in the midst of registering our sentiments and our protests, we shouldn't carry it to the extreme to create other problems for ourselves. Yeah, James. But thank you so much, John. Yeah, James.
Yeah, I was reacting to the gentleman, but I was trying to find out if he can answer the following questions.
Okay.
Didn't their flag bearer say all die be die? Didn't Mukhtar Bamba? Didn't he tell the whole Ghana that he's preparing the Bamba boys for the 2012 election? Didn't Lord Comey mention action troopers and what they intend to do? Victor Usu, what did he say? Jacob Echebilamti, all these guys, they said they are
on record.
That's it. All that we are saying, all that the General Secretary said, are on record. So you can't go, their tapes are there, go and play back. And then you listen before you come out to say some of these things. We need to be careful, to be honest with you. When we call in, let's try to be civil to some extent, decorous and stuff like that. Don't just jump in and start insulting people. It will not help us. We are stating facts. The General Secretary stated facts.
Program, I will not encourage that sort of attitude on the show at all.
That's it. Yeah. So I think that we should commend the President for his patience, for his tolerance. We should also commend the police, what they are doing, the National Security, what they are doing. It's in our interest. And so far, I think that the police have demonstrated that they are neutral, based on actions, based on what they are doing. And we should encourage them not to condemn them.
I remember the boys who invaded the police headquarters, they destroyed some property of the police.
It was disgusting.
And even they extended it to the courts.
Come on.
They smashed the car
Smash
of
somebody's
the
car.
attorney.
It was nobody, we wouldn't want to pass by that area. It was dangerous. It was dangerous. So we don't have to encourage that. These are pictures. You cannot tell me that they didn't do it. The pictures are there on TV, in the newspapers. And some of them were proud enough to come and we did it to show you where power lies.
But should we go there?
We should not near there. We are out of that. In this 21st century, come on, we should discourage that. If we want to progress as far as our democracy is concerned, then we must discourage some of, we must shame some of these acts.
Okay.
It wouldn't help us.
Okay, all right. Before we go, our time is up, unfortunately, our viewers. Before we go, let me leave you with a report curled from Peace FM Online. And then the title which reads that Akufo-Addo is threat to peace and stability in Ghana by a U.S. think tank. And portions of the report reads, a U.S. think tank has described presidential candidate of the new Patriotic Party, Nana Akufo-Addo, as a threat to the peace and stability of Ghana. The Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies, in its latest Africa report, published last June, titled Ghana, Assessing Risks to Stability, authored by David W. Throop, highlighted what it says are the key stress points in Akufo-Addo's posture since he was elected the MPP candidate for the opposition MPP. The project, which was commissioned by the U.S. African Command, AFRICOM, also touched on Akufo-Addo's track record and his public utterances, such as the infamous all die be die, we accounts, and president at all costs, so forth. Let me leave you with this brief report that tells us that the posture, the statements of the MPP flag bearer that represents the body and soul of the MPP is pushing Ghana to dangerous trends. And as Ghanaians, as young men and young women of the Republic of Ghana, we have a future to build, we have a country to protect, and we have resources that we need to build to develop a better Ghana. Why should we go down the path of militancy? Why should we go down the path of war? Why should we go down the path where we have uncertainties, we have war all over the place, women hungry, family shatters, dreams broken? The choice is yours to make. Between peace and war, let's go for peace. Let's go for the man of peace. Let's support the better Ghana agenda.